So are you going or am I going? You talk first. I talk first. Who talks first?
We're not doing cringe sequel, mate. Come on.
Come on, that was a good line. That was a clever line by one J.J. Abrams, your favorite director of all time. I've heard.
No, my
I've heard
favorite
people
director
say
is
that.
Ryan Johnson.
Oh, that's actually a goated pick.
Yeah,
That's a goated pick.
yeah.
Goated pick.
He's my
Welcome,
favorite Z list director. He's lucky he
uh,
gets that.
welcome to Now There Are Two of Them. We're back for another show. We got a new show. We're finally out of the dumpster fire that was Soul Shadow Lord, and we're here.
That's right, JC. Now, for those of you new to the pod, we actually used to be a Breaking Bad podcast, but JC just would not say his name, so we've had to go over to Star Wars instead. We're watching chronological order, starting, of course, with Maul Shadow Lord. And now we've done that, we're moving over to the Acolyte.
Whose name? Whose name am I not saying?
Heisenberg. You just wouldn't do it.
What? Because he told me not to. He told me not to.
No, he said, say my name, and you refused. So that's why we're not doing that
That's
anymore.
what he said. I thought he said don't say my name. I thought it was very, very clear and specific the way Bryan Cranston read that script, but I guess he fucked up on that day. Because
As with most
otherwise
things,
it doesn't make
JC,
any
you're
sense.
actually wrong about that.
I'm right about everything that's ever existed in the history of television. I'll have you know.
Sure.
But
I'll give you that, except you're wrong about Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, which was a dumpster fire.
well,
But we're
you
not
don't know
talking
my
about that
opinion.
today, are we? Because we're about 4 years away from talking about that movie.
We haven't reviewed Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. I haven't seen it
I've
yet,
never seen
so-
it. No.
Yeah, I've never seen it, so I don't know what's in store. See, this is all
you've
a
never
first
spent
watch
hours
for us.
on end trying to convince me it's a fantastic movie. You've never done
Exactly. No, never done that. This is our first experience of all of this. Like we don't know anything about Star Wars. I know nothing.
that. No, I do. You don't know anything because you've never seen any of this.
No, none of it.
No,
0% of this.
I watched it all in advance just so I could get a leg up on you.
Right. Well, I have watched The Acolyte now, so this is
You've watched an episode.
This is the first episode of The Acolyte that we're talking about since because this show was meant to be in chronological order, right? Like that was the idea of this podcast. But unfortunately, when we actually decided to start the podcast, a new show had just dropped, like it had just come out. So we had to start the show in the middle of the timeline, and now we're jumping back. This is actually the start of the show. Like that was a prelude.
That was just
to
a prelude, yeah.
Yeah. Just a test.
Join us
run.
next
But
week
this is-
where we talk about Mandalorian Grogu, which will have come out. It is
Is that coming out next week?
order.
When's it coming out?
21st, right?
21st of
Sure,
May?
it's 21st. Yeah.
I thought it was next month. I thought it was June.
No.
Okay. Well,
That's silly of you, JC.
so we're just gonna have to pause the Acolyte until we talk about the Mandalorian and Grogu. Fuck.
That is
God,
correct.
what a terrible title. God, it's a terrible title. Why would you?
I don't know. Why
But
would you
when-
make that decision?
Me? You'd say
Yeah,
me
you personally.
personally. Why would I make that
That's right.
decision?
Well, it doesn't make any sense, JC.
It's the reason. The reason is I'm plotting Disney's downfall. They gave me a call.
Ah,
And they're like,
Again.
"Hey, what should we name this new movie about the Mandalorian and Grogu?" And I was like, "Say that again."
I thought you tried to plot Disney's downfall in the 40s, right? You
In the
did
40s?
something, yeah, connected him to someone in the 40s and tried to plot his downfall. No? Don't remember that?
I have no idea what you're referring to.
Okay. Well, the listeners might know. Real ones know.
Well, I guess I have no idea what the. I have no idea what this is referring to.
And you never will.
But,
The Acolyte.
but the Acolyte. We're talking about the first episode of the Acolyte. It's called Lost. Is it Lost/Found, or is it just called Lost?
Lost
Just called
slash
Lost?
found for the first one.
Why did they put a slash in the middle? Is it
I
meant to be
have no
two
idea.
episodes?
3 or 4 of the episodes. 3 of the episodes have split titles, and I don't know why.
This movie doesn't have like an interlude. It doesn't end halfway through or anything. It's bizarre. But
Got it.
so this is the first. This is the earliest. Isn't it crazy that this recent film is the earliest film in canon in
TV
Star
show.
Wars canon? TV show. Sorry, not
Yeah.
film. But it's the earliest piece of Star Wars media in the current canon.
It's the earliest live action piece of canon media, yeah.
Yeah,
There are
it's-
episodes of Young Jedi Adventures, I think it's called, that
Mm.
are earlier in the timeline, about 230 odd years before Battle of Yavin. So there is earlier
Mm.
stuff, but we decided we were not watching the micro series. or that.
No, that's
So you want to watch
so
that?
this is going to be the earliest until we get the Dawn of the Jedi film that James Mangold's directing, correct? Which
Yes.
is meant to take place like 10,000 years before. But so, can you tell us how far before the Battle of Yavin is this one set?
This one is 132 years before the Battle of Yavin, so it's 100 years before Phantom Menace.
Right. Okay. So the Jedi, as the title crawl, we get a title crawl. It's blue.
We do. It's very cool.
It tells us that this is peacetime. The Jedi are currently in peacetime, and they're like what is I feel like there's some anyway.
Dead
So
air.
it's peacetime. It tells us, but in the corners of the universe, some people are they're using the Force when they're
That's
not
right.
supposed
In
to.
a bit of a dodgy way, maybe. In
Maybe
a way that
of...
maybe we find out in the first scene of the show, even.
Now, listen, I want to know, does that imply that the Jedi have, like, I'm trying to remember what happens in this show, but I kind of want to go, I want to talk about this, like, as if it's fresh. But does that mean that the Jedi have outlawed the use of the Force unsanctioned by them? Like, they basically have control over who can use the Force and who can't.
I actually don't know, but I assume that they try to take down any dark side users because, as we see every time they pop up, they're not exactly great blokes.
No. But the way that the title doesn't say dark side users, it just says Force, people using the Force in secret, which implies that the Jedi
There's probably
have
others.
Yeah, which kind of implies that the Jedi have some kind of like monopoly on Force use, or like
Which would make sense because their whole thing was kind of we will find all the Force sensitive people as they're born and take them into our organization. Probably
little
to try
dodge.
and keep dark side users. Yeah, I mean they took kids.
It's a little bit dodge.
It's probably not the wisest move they've ever made, but yeah, I think that's kind of the idea. They take anyone with any Force powers and train them to use it normally.
I mean, that's what I remember this show kind of diving into, was kind of the dodginess of the Jedi, or the kind of, not the dodginess, but like
what would lead to their downfall.
Practices
they're up their
that
own
are kind of that's absolutely for sure. So this show opens, we get a cold open. Basically, we get this this dark side user. She's braided hair, and she enters, I guess it's like a bar. I can't remember the name of the planet that she was on.
Ueda?
Something like that.
UEDA. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, and she challenges a Jedi Master by the name of Indara, played by Carrie-Anne Moss.
That's right, from Matrix.
Attack her from the Matrix, and I mean, she shows off her skills in this scene as well.
She does, and I will say it's a very Matrix-inspired fight, right?
Yeah, I can sort of.
Star
yeah,
Wars.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's only Matrix-inspired because it's got Carrie-Anne Moss in it. But
she kind of fights almost like she's got like power, right?
Yeah. But they introduced
it reminded me of it.
Yeah. So basically, this woman is introduced. They have a fight, and I almost said she almost kills her. She actually kills her.
Yes.
But like the tidbit we get before she kills her is she says, "What does she say?" Jedi.
Are you talking about what this woman says, or the Jedi Master?
No, what the woman says. Who we find out her name later, but
yeah.
She says a Jedi never uses...
Never draws as their weapon unless they're planning to kill, something along those lines.
Which is that's a fucking terrible rule that the Jedis have, apparently, at this point in time.
If you think about it, it is. But if you think about it, how many times in peacetime would they actually need to take their weapon out?
I guess so, but like I feel
in theory, they wouldn't be using them to threaten anyone, right? That's not really their style.
No.
They've got Force powers, they can deflect blasters with the Force and things like that.
But I feel like if they're being attacked and they defend themselves, they're not using the lightsaber to kill at that point. They're just using the lightsaber to incapacitate.
However, we've seen the show and we know that from this woman's perspective, that is absolutely true. That's all she knows about them. We'll get to that.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
But in that context, I do understand. It makes more sense. Yeah.
I don't remember, but yes, but that's one of my issues with the show. But we'll get into that. But I like this intro. I think it's fun. It's got tension. It's It's a good hook for the show.
I really liked the way that they kill Endara, the Jedi Master. I think it's so typical Jedi to die trying to save another life.
Which she
A
does.
dark side user would absolutely try and distract a Jedi by attacking an innocent person using that moment to kill them.
Yep.
It's 100% how you kill one of them.
Their compassion is their downfall sometimes.
It is exactly right, yeah, and that's kind of how
which isn't a bad thing.
Jedi have been killed in sort of other media properties and things like that. You know, they get
which isn't a bad thing.
No, I like it. It's a good idea for them.
Yeah, and not just a good idea for them, but like it's I think it's moral for that, like for them to do that. I think it's smart. It kind of shows their integrity. They're willing to put their own life on the line to save another. It's good. I think it shows a good quality of Indara. I mean, we find out later what's going on with Indara, but off the bat,
she seems a lot better than they all end up actually being. Every Jedi in the show is a piece of shit.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. One. I can't remember. Yeah. I can't remember how bad it gets, but we'll see where this goes. From memory, I don't remember it being that bad, but we'll see. We'll see. But so we're introduced to her. Obviously, like what happened between them? They knew each other, and we're like, okay, what happened between them? And then after the titles, we meet Osha, who is played by Amanda Stahlberg. The woman in the first scene was also played by Amanda Stahlberg. So.
Amandla.
Is it Amandla?
Amandla Stenberg.
Damn, I took that L.
You did, yeah. So I had to jump in there because I can't have people's names being mispronounced.
No, I meant I literally took that L from her name.
You did. You literally took the L from her.
I literally took away the L from her.
And you gained it, JCL.
I took the L. But no, wait, so we open on Osha. It's played by the same actress, Amanda Stahlberg. That's hard to say. Amandla? That's a...
Amandla Stenberg.
I thought it was Stahlberg. Stenberg? Stenberg. Who I like. I think she's a good actress. I actually don't mind her in the show either.
I saw a lot of online criticism about her acting in this, and I don't really get it. No, I think she's fine.
I think she's fine as well. I would say, so it opens, she's a mechanic on a Nemoidian.
Mechanic even.
A mechanic.
Mechanics. It's the most glup shitto name for a career I've ever heard in my life. And I don't understand why they did it.
On a Nemoidian freighter. I love that they have Nemoidians. I love that they brought back Nemoidians. I love how they're like little shits. They're little shits, like, you know, the Jedi show up and they're like, you know that it's illegal to have human, like to have not human, but to have non-droids on the outside of a ship. And they're like, no, we wouldn't do that. We don't. Why would we have mechanics? We know that that's illegal. And they have mechanics. Oh, shut.
The other guy definitely do. But what I've found really weird is that the Jedi don't do anything about it. They're only there for her.
Of course, that's going to get cut out. So, what were you saying, Manch? Where were we?
Completely fucking forgotten. You left the room for like 2 minutes.
Fucking parents, man. So, yeah, we have the Nemoidians. They're little shits. They're obviously cheapskates. They're paying for human labor that they're putting in peril that they shouldn't.
That's
right. But Osha's obviously very good.
Because they have droid manufacturing facilities. They are major droid manufacturers. And they're still using freelance mechanics, which is bizarre. But what I was saying was that the Jedi just don't care.
No.
They're only there for
Osha. They don't give a shit. They're only there for Osha.
Any OHS violations, any OSHA violations for you Americans. They don't care.
OSHA? You mean OSHA?
No, OSHA. OSA.
Was that a secret message that they were... Is that how they came up with her name? How did we come up with her name?
Yeah. Well, she works on a ship that's a bit dodgy with the Ox safety. They're breaching the OSHA.
They wrote the Nemoidians first. Like that was wrote them first.
You have to.
First page. The Nemoidians are little shits, and they're breaking
the main focus of the show, after all.
Regulations. That's what we're going to call our main character. No, it's great.
OSHA.
Very, very clever. Very clever, guys. I see you, Leslie Headland. So this, by the way, this show is made by, writer of the show. This show is made by Leslie Headland. She made Russian Doll, which I've heard is very good. Like, gets really good reviews. So I haven't seen it either, but I hear
But Star
nothing
Wars
but
is the
good things
only
about it.
franchise I've ever watched, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true. And Star Wars is actually the only franchise I haven't watched. So
Yeah,
we're like
you've seen
we're
all
on
of
the
them.
polar. Yeah, I've seen none of them. You mean? I've
No,
seen
you've
all
seen
the
all, no,
franchises. Yeah. I've seen all the
Yeah.
franchises except this one. Yeah,
that's right. You're
which is
finishing your journey
why
here.
we had to stop all these previous shows that you keep lying about, because I've seen them all, so I just kept spoiling them for you.
Right, yeah.
Exactly.
I'll have to remember that one.
Where
Might use that one next week.
So Fjord, it's Fjord, and there's another like Jedi
Just
with him.
Yord.
Yord? I thought it was Fjord. It was just
Y-O-R-D.
Yord.
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 It's really silly.
Yord.
It's very Star Wars name. There's a lot of those in this show.
But anyway, so she obviously knows Fjord because he shows up, and they have a chat and they arrest her, right?
And he's absolutely aura farming the entire time. The man
I mean,
just looks phenomenal.
but let's be honest, he has that haircut. He has that haircut that they keep giving African American characters. The same haircut. They did it in Spider-Man 2. They did it. Name another. There's heaps of them. There's so many where they give them this haircut. It just seems to be the standard.
It's kind of like, is it controversial to say it's like their broccoli hair, but it's only in
Yes.
movies?
Yes. Yeah, correct. It's their broccoli hair. They gave it to Finn in
They did in episode 9.
Rise of Skywalker, yeah. Fuck it.
Which you haven't seen yet.
Which I haven't
You've only
seen
seen
yet.
clips.
So yeah, I haven't seen that. But no, so they arrest her, and she's like, "What the fuck? I've been on this freighter this whole time," and they're like,
Which
"Don't
is true.
care."
She was. However,
Which is
maybe someone who looked just like her was.
Well, the thing is,
else.
at that point, we don't know if that's true or not. We're like, why does she look like her? She seems to not know.
Is she going through amnesia or something?
Yeah. What's going on?
That they keep doing in this first episode, at least. They keep seeing Osha waking up from bad dreams. It happens like 3 times in one episode. It's insane.
Yeah, yes. And we don't like we hear voices, and there's that one dream where she's in the forest, and then it just reveals who the girl at the start was. Oh, it's her twin sister May. Immediately. So what was the point of that, of hiding that? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what more you could have done at the start of the show that wouldn't have telegraphed that straight away, so I guess it's not really something they can hold on to for that long.
Yeah, but
if they started with the flashbacks, you would still know that she has a twin sister, right? Or at the very least a sister, and I think it would have been telegraphed anyway.
I don't want to talk about the the specifics of the flashbacks just yet, because this is a show I haven't seen, so I don't actually know what happens.
You just know that there are flashbacks.
Yes, right, exactly. I'm kidding. I have seen this fucking show, but we're gonna pretend I haven't. But what I want to talk about is they allude.
I thought you had.
Like my biggest issue with this episode is actually not just this episode, but this show, is that it seems to be using the same kind of storytelling technique that J.J. Abrams is a big fan of, which is the mystery box.
Yeah,
which is where they allude to this backstory that these characters have, this history that these characters have, and you're like, what happened? They allude to this fire that destroyed Osha's home, killed her mother and sister, blah blah blah,
15,000 times as well.
And I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, I want to know that, because then that'll inform her character and inform like where she's coming from. So, because all of the actions that all of her actions in this show, like, we have nothing to go off, right? We don't know anything about what happened between her and Sol, or what happened between her and her sister, and any of this stuff. So I feel like, because it wants to create this intrigue mystery box thing, it sacrifices character. And I think that's my biggest issue with the show, is it should have opened with what happened, at least from Osha's perspective, what happened on the night of the fire that they keep mentioning. Yeah. We need to know, at least from her perspective, how she saw Sol on that night, how she saw the Jedi on that night. And then I think because from her perspective, obviously they didn't do anything wrong, right? Right?
Well, she doesn't know any better.
Yeah, exactly. And she still respects Sol. She still respects Indara. She talks about Indara positively. So if we had just what happened on the night of the fire from Osha's perspective, and then we cut to the future, right? and we see Osha or her sister May, but maybe we think it's Osha.
Hell, do episode 3 for the first
Attack
episode
Indara.
and have the final scene be the attack on Indara.
Yeah,
and then you're left wondering, which one was that?
And why would she do that? And like because then we know that Indara, like at least from Osha's perspective, is a good person, and that would fuel so much of their characters. Like every interaction between in this scene, like when Sol is thinking about Osha and like how he was close to her, like we have no building blocks for that. Like it's empty air, right? It's just do you get what I'm saying? Like it's not, there's no foundation for his emotions in this episode, and I'm like,
similar
I want to know
what
more.
You found with Maul then.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. You should have had more of the character development stuff first rather than wait.
Yeah,
I do agree. I think it would have been better. I think the biggest problem with the show is pacing and execution. I don't think any of the bones of it are bad. I like the show.
No, absolutely not. I just find, at least for this episode, and I think from memory of a show I definitely haven't seen, the next episode as well. Do you remember, because you have seen this show, apparently.
I have seen the show, yeah.
What episode do we see the Night of the Fire from Osha's perspective? Is it episode 3?
3, yeah. 3 and 7 are the flashback episodes.
Okay, well, I'll see how the show played, because 3 is actually not too late, but we'll see.
Yeah,
but I would have really liked that stuff.
I think it's more that a lot happens in the first 2.
Yeah,
more in the second one. I think there's a lot happening.
I just move around. I think have episode 3 and then end it with what May does to Indara, and that would have led to a lot more. What? Yeah, but that's not what we get.
No.
At the moment, like from episode 1, I'm a bit like, I'm not getting a lot. Like I love Li Beijing. By the way, is that how you say his name? Li Beijing. The main dude, the main Jedi, Sol.
Li Zhongjae? How about you say
Li Zhongjae? I thought it was Li Beijing, but Li Zhongjae. I think I'm thinking of a different actor. He's so good. He's my favorite actor in this show.
Would have to be a tie between him and someone else that we meet, I think, next episode.
Well, yes, we'll get to him, but we meet him at the end of this episode, which, by the way, really weird ending.
I thought it cut really suddenly out of that. It's a little bit odd.
Really weird way to end the episode. Yeah. I don't know. If
we haven't quite got there yet. Let's talk about
I need to. I feel like in between. Yeah, I know, but I feel like I need to do a bit of reading on the making of this show, because that ending felt really rushed. It's almost like I don't know how much of this show got chopped and changed, and whether episode 3 was meant to be at the start. And I have a lot of questions about the making of this show. And even the ending of this episode, it didn't feel natural. It didn't feel like that was the intended ending. It felt very like he's giving a speech and then it ends. But anyway, I want you to keep going with
what I would have liked at the end was just a shot of his face. Not the character's face, the mask, which we'll talk about next week. I think that I think would have sealed it at least a little bit for me.
Yeah,
at least get something as to who this guy is rather than a silhouette. Anyway, so what else happens in the episode, JC?
So Osha gets arrested, and then Sol is alerted to it by the green lady. What's her name?
Zenestra. She's actually from the High Republic comics as a returning character. My understanding is she was the main character of those runs, but they took place a lot further back in history, and she's obviously changed a lot from what I've read and heard. And now she's kind of an asshole, where back in the day she was the protagonist.
Well, in this episode, she doesn't come across as an asshole yet. She just kind of alerts him that Osha's been arrested, and she says she didn't realize how close he was to her, which
but she is also wanting them to be discreet, which is probably not something that an all-powerful, force-wielding organization that's supposed to be, kind of pseudo-government controlled and kind of, Black Ops agent style. It's a little bit sus.
I love that moment where she's like, we need to keep a low profile, because otherwise, we might lose our... What does she say? She says we might lose our... So
I can't remember what she says, but Sol says basically it would be
a PR nightmare,
Sol says it would be, and Sol goes, our political enemies would use this against us.
Yeah, and it's like that's what you're thinking about right now. One of your Jedi has just been killed, and it's his apprentice. Like, have some emotion. Like, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, his
it's just a
apprentice
little
has
dodgy.
apparently killed another Jedi Master, not Grandmaster, but another
So it
Jedi
looks
Master,
bad.
and we're worried about it looking bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
like
like it.
that's. I feel like there's bigger issues here than
And
that.
that
But
kind of what I really like about that is it speaks to what is wrong with the Jedi and what leads to their downfall eventually. Anyway,
yeah,
because as
yeah,
people who've watched Star Wars, unlike you, have know it's kind of the same behavior in 100 years from now. It doesn't really change, and
no,
it pretty much sees them sink. They
yeah,
can't
but
stay out of the politics.
no, that's right. And they're meant to be like a religious force or
Well, they're meant
a
to be keepers of the
religious.
peace, as they keep saying. You hear this all the
Yeah,
time. They're keepers of the peace, not soldiers. Is a line that Yoda says.
yeah.
But constantly, they're finding themselves fighting battles.
It's a bit like I'm not sure how relevant this is, but it kind of reminds me of recently like the court justices, like the Supreme Court justices who are meant to be impartial, and they wouldn't certify the election of not Donald Trump, of Biden. The judge kept asking them who won the 2020 election, and they were like,
I
Joe
don't think it's
Biden
related
was.
to US politics at all.
No, you don't think so? You don't think
No,
George
not at all.
Lucas intended for this series to reflect modern politics of the
I
day?
don't think.
No.
No, I don't think he intended for it to reflect on 70s or 80s US politics either.
No, no,
He would
absolutely
have
not.
said so if that was the case.
But you don't see the parallel though. It might be unintentional,
No.
but like, this impartial force that's meant to be impartial, and yet they play the politics game, right?
Well,
And
no,
that's kind of what
because
the Jedi are doing here.
no, I don't think so. Because later in the franchise, we have a reference to a certain dark side user having control of the Senate and the courts. So I actually don't think it's related at all
No, no, absolutely not.
because they're different organizations. JC.
Right, yeah, they have different names. One's called the Empire, the other one's called what?
Well, we're in the Republic at the moment, and you'll notice that the Empire is different to the Republic.
Oh, I see.
They're different
I
entities.
see.
Yeah, the Republic was taken over by the Empire.
I never realized that, Manch. I never realized
No.
that. Okay, well, I
Well,
can't
you
wait
haven't
to
seen the
see
series,
that.
so you wouldn't know.
No, I can't wait to see that. But no, so obviously Saul is quite shocked by the revelation, but Osha's on the ship. For some reason, Yor didn't. I don't know why, but Yor didn't accompany her on the prison ship.
I was wondering about that. What I noticed, he said they were moving her to prisoner transfer, which implies that he was going to stay on his starfighter and she was going to be transported on a generic transport ship.
Mhm.
And you see the prison at the Jedi Temple. I assume it's the Jedi Temple. It kind of looked like it. After this incident on that ship, so it kind of seems like there was already a shipment of prisoners going off to Coruscant anyway. They threw her on that instead of taking her on a starfighter designed for two people. That's kind of how I read that.
So she's on this ship that's run by droids. It doesn't have any people on it except the people in the prison.
Yep.
And she
Not a
by
commentary.
chance, no, definitely not. But she happened to be on the ship at the same time as a mutiny was underway.
That's right. They did a bit of a betrayal.
Yeah. Well, no, there wasn't a betrayal, but they escaped.
It was a betrayal of the law.
The law of the Jedi, the law of the Republic. Does the Republic set the laws, or do the Jedi set the laws? Do the Jedi enforce the laws? So do the Jedi enforce the laws of the Republic? What are the Jedi? What's the
Jedi are kind of their own little thing.
Yeah, no, you're right. They're their own little thing.
Maybe they're the Illuminati. No, that's ridiculous. That wouldn't exist.
No, it is kind of like the Jedi are a really weird entity in this series. Like, genuinely, they're a weird entity. They're
just extrajudicial.
Yeah, absolutely. But no,
so yeah, there's a bit of a mutiny.
Basically, she gets the opportunity to escape. And I do wonder, because like the way that the story was going at that point was she was arrested and she's going to go to Coruscant, right? Like but that opportunity, or not that opportunity, but that is thwarted by this mutiny escape, and the
And
ship
Osha
goes
gets the chance to
flying.
escape as well. She refuses.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she says no. She
Yeah.
said, like, because I think she respects the Jedi, and she respects Soul, and she respects, but the ship is crashing, so now she doesn't really have a choice. So, but that begs the question, right? She crashes on the planet, and she gets captured anyway by Soul. But the big question is, why did they do that? And I think the main reason is, the only reason why they did that is for her to show that she is selfless. She not selfless, but she helps that guy who was a maniac.
Yeah.
And he had a thing over his face, like, and she
Yeah,
was
fun little
told that
parasite.
on his face, and she was told that it was for violent prisoners, but she saved him anyway. And then that mess, like, Soul finds that out from him, and that's what
And
that whole
kind of
sequence was
uses
for.
that to prove that she's probably not the killer. And yeah, I think it's great storytelling. I think it's great character
I don't
work.
think it's
Without
yeah, I think it's
there's
good.
a lot of there's a lot of exposition in this first episode. There's a lot of, you are this person, and I know you have done these things, and you are an amazing
yes,
person.
which is
There's a lot of
what
that.
would have been better. Which would have been better if we got the flashback, if we just saw it happening instead of being told. But I do think it's really weird that they took this whole diversion, like that whole thing, just so Osha could show she's selfless, and so that Soul could find that out and go, okay, she's not the killer. She's still my girl. She's still my Osha. But I like
could
it.
have been an email.
I think he believes in it. I like it, but it's very convoluted. A very convoluted a way to get that across.
Yeah, I think they just wanted another action sequence, to be quite honest. And they decided, let's use this to tell a bit of character.
Yeah. But no, I thought it was interesting that the ship was crashing, and so, like, she didn't have a choice in the matter of escaping. Like, I thought it would have been interesting if she's in the middle of it, if she was still given the choice. But no, the ship was just crashing. She had to get out of it. It then became survival.
Yes and no, because she was going to go on the escape pod still.
Yeah.
She just got, attacked by old mate with the parasite.
Yeah, and she survives
the crash as a result. She does
as well. I do like, because this show for kids. Like, do you think this is a show for kids or not?
Maybe the start. I don't think it ends up being for kids later. I think it's a little bit darker. Probably
it does
more
make me
like a teenagers kind of show.
Because when she was sitting in the ship and she starts belting up in the ship and she survives, like, that whole sequence to me felt like a belt up ad. Like, when you get in the car, you need to belt up, like, and you'll survive.
Great advertisement for seatbelts. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it felt like to me. I was like, is this aimed at kids? So, like, is that bit aimed at kids? So they...
No, I think what it was aimed at was to try and explain away how she survived the crashing ship. Because we see that quite a lot, and you never really see what they're doing so much. Like, usually you get, like, a strap in.
She did not like, in reality, she wouldn't have survived.
She would have had major concussion for a start.
She got very lucky.
Whiplash, concussion, probably a broken spine.
But she's a Jedi.
Internal damage. She's a Jedi. Yeah, we deal with it.
She's a Jedi. Like, and then here comes my other issue with this show is, I think the set design, or the way that they shoot on these, they're clearly sound stages, and they feel very small. Do you?
I think they're using the volume for a lot of this, and you can
Is it the volume, or to me it looked like...
I don't know if it is, but it feels like it to me. They're the same sort of size, I guess.
Yeah,
you do get, like, later in the show, there are some larger sets, and you can almost feel that they're on location for those. But definitely for this episode, really felt like a soundstage.
Like, when they're going through the cave, like, okay, so she leaves the ship, and then there's a wipe, and then the Jedi arrive on the ship. It almost felt like a sitcom, because they've got, like, 3 sets, so they could do more. That's how this show feels a little bit. And I remember they get bigger sets in, like, the flashback sequences and stuff. But even like the planet that they end up on, which, by the way, I don't remember.
Definitely felt like a show that was hamstrung by a budget to me.
Yeah, a budget and, like, a shooting style. Like, I think the volume is incredibly overused, and when you don't know how to use it correctly, you get stuff like this, and you get stuff like in Obi-Wan, which also felt hamstrung from a directing perspective. Just like a shot selection perspective, I find this show very flat. and claustrophobic.
Apparently, it did not use the volume at all.
So they're just sets. Like they had limited sets. It sounds like
practical sets and physical locations in.
Yeah, practical sets. I think the set work in
they
this
do feel
is
smaller than they probably should, but
like I don't want to be watching.
It's TV.
I don't want to watch a Star Wars show and feel and like think back to like old Star Trek where they had 2 sets for a whole episode. You get what I'm saying? Like that's how it
is. 2024 when this came out. I get that we've kind of moved past that, but
the Mandalorian barely had that issue. Barely ever had that issue,
which is weird because that used the volume a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I think they did a pretty good job sometimes, other times, but this show for some reason feels small, and I don't know why. Maybe if I watch the next episode,
I think you're right. I think later in the show it gets a lot more expansive and you see more of that.
Yeah.
But after this mutiny, what happens?
Well, she lands on the planet. Soul goes to like they, obviously the Jedi hear about it, and Soul goes to your Venestra girl, your green girl. I call her yours for some reason. She's your girl.
Yeah, I don't know
why. She's your girl.
She's not.
She's your girl. But so and he's like, I want to be the one to go after Osha and get her. This is my responsibility. I was her master, which I like. And again, Venestra's like, okay, you go do that, and he does, and he brings Yord and his Padawan with him. His Padawan played by Daphne Keane, who does a great job in the show, by the way. Like Daphne Keane fantastic.
I love the cast in this in general. The cast is really, really strong.
She's also unrecognizable. Like I mean, the most that I know Daphne Keane from is Logan, where she played X-22. But she's been in other stuff that I've seen as well. But she's unrecognizable. Her voice is different as well. She does a really good job, like just embodying this character. I like her.
I really liked it.
Yeah, and so they end up. They track her down and they find her. They're on the cliff. And do you want to explain what happens?
Yeah, well, she almost feels backed up into a corner and doesn't want to go with them. And it's really Soul that brings her back literally from the ledge.
Mm-hmm. And she's pleading with him, and she's pleading with him. She's like, "I didn't do this." Yeah, and you believe her. I believe her. Well,
I believe her.
I haven't.
Soul clearly.
I haven't seen the show, but I believe her.
By this point in it, we already know there's 2 characters. So you can assume that May was the one that killed Indara. Yeah. And you get that right at the end. So there's no reason for the audience to not believe that it wasn't her. The question is, how is she going to convince the other characters? Yeah, and how Soul, I love that moment though. Because we heard Soul earlier in the episode say, "No, there's no way it's May. She's dead. I watched her die," which is weird because you didn't see her die. You see her fall. I'm not going to say that now, but he doesn't see her. Even though literally die.
Well, we don't know. You don't know.
Well, I know.
But what I want to say is, I love, even though it's not set up at all, we don't see any of their the inciting incident of their relationship, Soul and Osha. I love characters that believe in the goodness of another character. I love relationships like that. I think they're great. They're always good. Yeah, I love the way he just seems so kind and
very well played, very well cast, very well written,
emotionally intelligent. Yeah, I love
comfortably the best character in the series, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's
another guy.
We'll see. There's another one in this show who I like him a lot. He's the heart of this show, I would say.
Yeah. I don't think the show works without him. Put it that way.
No. Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know that it works with another actor either. Now, fun fact about Lee, he actually learned English for this show. Prior to the show, he didn't know English. Talk about commitment to a role. He did.
Yeah, I already knew that, Manch.
I know you know that. The audience
I already knew that.
The audience definitely knows.
Could you imagine learning English?
You're not listening to a podcast like this about Star Wars unless you know about Star Wars, and especially when we start off with Acolyte.
Could you imagine learning an entire language for a show just for it to be cancelled after 1 season? Could you imagine? Put that in your shoes. You learn an entire language and how to speak it.
Enough to get through a cast. Enough to get through a show. Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
He does.
I didn't see interviews with him. Have we seen interviews with him since the show?
I haven't.
How? I wonder. Yeah, but he learned English for his show, and he's great. He does a really good job. Yeah. He nails every line. He's easily the best I think the best actor in this show. He just has so much pathos and emotion, and he's just really good. I love him. I hope he gets more work, like in Hollywood. Like, I hope he gets a.
I think he, like most people in the world, would know bits of English anyway. They'd get by that. He definitely spent time with some dialect coaches to get the intonation down and learn how to speak
And to understand the
stage.
script as well,
And
and also
probably to understand the script. Yeah, it was obviously his first English language role, so he's probably not used to it.
No,
it'd be like me going over to Germany and doing a German role. I wouldn't have a clue
what
I'm
about
doing.
French? What about French?
No, I don't know any French.
You sure?
100%.
Okay. We'll move on then. So we're getting no more seasons of this, which is disappointing, but I do get, like, I feel like this show, we'll get into it later on, I think, more, but why are you staring directly at the camera? Why are you doing that?
So I have to do it every episode. It's a bit.
I feel like the lack of, like, dramatic tension, because we don't get information that we should have had, did really sour the show. But I think this did deserve more, and I don't think it's as bad as everyone says it was. But I do have,
I agree,
fatal issues with it. But yeah, but it is decent.
Yeah, what annoys me is that we're in a day and age where if a show doesn't immediately catch on and get an audience, they just can it straight away. And I know that used to happen in the past as well. Look at Firefly. But this feels like a show that should have got a season 2 or 3, and I think it would have really found its footing. Granted,
I think so too.
Like, there are characters gone from what would be the second season that might hurt it, but I think there's enough here that you can really make something.
And
it's disappointing that it won't get that chance again. I don't think it's just, but I think it's unlikely.
But to be honest, I don't think it's just that it didn't catch on, but I feel like there was an unfounded brigade against this movie that's scared.
Yeah, well, I remember on IMDb, at the moment, it's at a 4.3 out of 10. It is not a 4.3 out of 10.
No, absolutely not. And
maybe like a 6.5, 7. It's not a 4.3.
But
review
also this kind of
tanked it.
Yeah, and I think part of it is because of this fucking right-wing culture that we're currently living under, that I am fully in support for, by the way. Like 100%
Jesus, JB, I never knew you were in favour of that.
Which, obviously I'm 100% in support for, but if it affects, like, shows like this, then I'm like, okay, let's pump the brakes, boys. But otherwise, I don't like poor people, so...
That's a real
Sorry,
surprise,
I couldn't keep a straight
JB.
face. I couldn't keep a straight face saying that, but no, I am disappointed. I am disappointed in what happened. I swear you've called me that before.
What?
I swear you've already used JV. I'm JC. You know this. You don't have a. You couldn't come up with a different name to, like. Yeah, it's JC.
Oh, sorry. I've got written here JB. Sorry.
Who wrote that down?
I don't know. Who wrote that? It must have been you, because it wasn't me.
You know what I'm gonna do is I'll write JC on a big piece of paper and I'll mail it to you so you can stick it to your fucking computer.
I don't think that'll work because it'll just fall off, or it'll cover your face, and I really want to see your face.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, the audience can't see what I just showed to the screen. It was just a white piece of paper that said JC on it, which is my name.
That's right. But also, the audience isn't going to see this because we don't record video, but currently his tag is JB, like JB Hi-Fi. So I feel like that's a mistake on your part.
I didn't write that. You just put that there. What the fuck?
I don't think I can do that. I'm not the host.
Sure, babe. Sure. But, so this... Yeah, I want to say this first episode, it has a lot of issues and potential as well. I really wish they did something more with, like, I wish they gave us more information than they did, because it makes a lot of the drama inert. It's kind of anti-storytelling, but we'll see how I feel about the rest of the show, especially after episode 3, once we get more information, which I don't know about. I don't know about.
Well, you only know because I've just told you that that's where the flashbacks are. Now,
yeah, it's not because I've seen the show
like
before.
I said, this male voice we hear at the end and the silhouette ends up becoming a very important character, but I really like the tension at the start of the show, not knowing who this guy is.
Does he?
Yes. Well, you kind of open the show with this assassin.
He shows up in the next episode.
Sorry?
He shows up in the next episode.
He shows up in future episodes, yes. Now...
No way!
Oh, shut up. What I like, before you took me off of my little tangent here, JC, See, I got it right that
No,
time.
I thought that was the last time we are going to see him. I thought he was just going to say that little speech and then that's it. We get nothing else.
Well, I thought so too, but no, that's actually not the case.
He just he dies. He falls off the cliff and dies in the next episode at the start.
Okay, I'm going to need you to shut up so I can make my point here. Now, I've completely lost what I was going to say, you dog.
Something about him standing on the rock and him being at the end of this episode and him being in future episodes.
You open the show with May killing Indara, which we find out in this episode, and you just think, oh, okay, so she's going to be the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's someone directing her to do what she's doing. And I find that it's a really cool twist. I don't know that it works as the first episode's cliffhanger, but
it seemed obvious
I like
to
it
me.
as a direction for the show.
It seemed obvious to me, like just the way that she came into the, like, clearly she'd been trained by someone and clearly
me.
Yes. You're the guy behind the mask. You're the hunky sexy dude that shows up behind the mask. It's you.
I wish.
Manch. Could you imagine as Manch with his man-cheater hat underneath that helmet?
I'm a man-cheater.
Have you got abs like that guy? That I haven't seen, by the way. I don't know what he looks like.
Like who? How would you know he has abs?
He just looks. He just sounds like.
Yeah, okay.
His voice. He's got abs.
Voice, yes.
Yeah, it's the voice.
He seems like a guy that would really like Blake Bortles. Just from the voice. I can tell from the voice he would really like Blake Bortles.
Who's what?
Have you not seen The Good Place? Oh my lord.
I have seen The Good Place, but I don't remember that.
Bortles!
I don't remember that.
Okay, well, it's like the main joke of Jason's character in that. Yes. So this guy,
Jason,
we find out later, is played by a certain Manny Jacinto who plays Jason on The Good Place. This isn't news. We know this.
I didn't know this. Manny Jacinto's in this show? Let's go! I kind of sounded like him then.
I think he was this other person you were referring to earlier as really liking. Because I think you have seen
I haven't seen the show. I haven't seen the show.
I think you have. That's a reference to the Phantom Menace.
What?
You know when Anakin goes?
No, I don't. But
it's when he's asking Qui-Gon if he's ever... I think he's asking whether he's ever used his lightsaber to...
I think you have.
Whether he's come to the planet to free the slaves, yeah. I think you have.
He just like...
Yeah.
He's like, no, I haven't. I think you have. Yeah, I remember that. But no, yeah, okay episode, okay opening. Let's see if it gets better.
I think it's exactly like most of the rest of the show. Just fine. You know, it's TV.
Except for
something to watch.
Except for one episode.
Probably two.
Fucking
hard.
I
really like two of them. There's one that is absolutely above all the others. Yeah, I agree.
Why is that, Manch? Is it because it's got lightsaber?
It's the third episode with all the flashbacks.
Is it yeah, that one. That's the good one.
I really like the flashbacks. Yeah, that's the good one.
I feel like I remember liking the flashbacks. I'll find out. I feel like I remember.
Okay,
but
episode 5 is really, really good, and I'll stand by that.
Is that lightsaber fights? Is that the one with the lightsaber fights? Is that that one?
Some lightsaber fights. Yes. What are you doing with your voice?
Is that the one with the lightsaber fights?
This is dragging on, JC.
Well, I guess we'll end it there. We'll see you next week for another episode. And now there are 2 of them. Talking about episode 2 of The Acolyte.
It's the only show named after a Star Wars quote. Didn't you know that?
Don't look it up.